Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'm going to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakak Kodesh. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace and salutations to the elect out there feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson and straight to the point. And this truth is not for debate. Anybody who wants to debate, argue, right? Try to, manipulate the scriptures to their meaning, manipulate the word of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? Or add or take away into the scriptures, right? The Lord is not dealing with them, right? The Lord is about to destroy a lot of these false prophets, these false teachers, these people who sow discord among brethren, right? The Lord's about to destroy all these people. The book of Proverbs 26, and it says, "Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him," right? So if you start debating with these people, when you already know we already know we have the truth, why the fuck are you debating with these people, right? It's making you look like an idiot now, because these people got demons on them to just sit at home and argue all day and just sit on their couch and eat fucking potato chips and go back into foolish arguments, right, which leads to nowhere, right? We know we have the 144% truth. We don't need to argue with you, you people, right? You people are, if you knew you had the truth, you wouldn't need to argue, right? And that's why we don't need to debate anybody, right? We don't need to argue. We're here to feed the elect, right? Feed the flock, right? Only those who will actually understand will understand, right? Well, because the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Look at Matthew 5:25, and it says, "Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest any time the adversary deliver thee to judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison," right? So what we have to use wisdom, right? This is when you come into this wisdom and knowledge and understanding, right? Go ahead, you're right. Let these people believe that they're right. Let these people win their carnal battles, right? And that's it's the crazy thing is because some people will try to argue with you and you say, what, you're right, you're 100%, man, you're on point, man, right? And they almost feel like an idiot. Then they're the ones that are actually become dumbfounded, right? They become bewildered. You're like, wait a minute, you were supposed to argue with me. What happened, right? And because these people or you just block these people and they get even more mad, right? Because they got all these demons on them, right? That just want to refute these scriptures, right? Because they know that their downfall is coming, right? These 2/3, right? These Edomites, heathens, they know their downfall is coming, so they're gonna do anything to make themselves feel good about what's about to go down. Because these people they want to live in this world forever, right? They don't believe the Lord Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai is coming back for another in our timeline, right? No, they believe the Lord is coming back, in another 1,000 years, right? You have fucking false prophets out there, these other camps, it's saying, no, it's not going to be in our timeline. It's not going to be until another 1,000 more years. We're not going to see these things, right? Right. These people are just a bunch of false fucking prophets, right? They're wicked people, right? They still want to be attached to this world, so just let them. Right. This is the book of Romans 14:5. It says, "One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind." Right? We're not here to try to convince you we're not here to what try to but debate with you, right? No, we know what we have is the 100% truth, right? And we'll warn you once, we'll warn you twice, and after that, you know, if you're not going to understand, if you're not going to hear it, then then it was never meant for you to hear it, right? Unless the Lord puts it on your spirit to come back and eventually receive this truth, right? But other than that, most of these people, they don't want to hear it. So just let the people who actually want to be fully persuaded in their own mind, right? They should know 100% what we're saying. This is the prophecy of the Lord, right? They should believe that prophets were among them, and that we are the mouthpieces of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. The book of Romans 11:33, it says, "Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh! How unsearchable are his judgments and his ways past finding out." Right? You can't buy this truth, man. There's people that spend, millions, man, trying to seek out answers, right? Trying to seek out the truth, right? But the truth was never given unto him, right? That's why you have all these, different, philosophers, different scientists, right? Different, what do you call these? Where you have different people, paying, $50,000, right? I knew one lady. She's paid $50,000 to get fucking screamed at a seminar. These people, they will search out everything, right? But they won't seek the Lord while he may be found, right? And that's because the Lord ultimately he didn't give this truth to them, right? He only gave this truth to the sincere men, right? The sincere men who are doing this with sincerity and charity, right? Because we're not paying for this truth, right? We're not we're not trying to debate. Ultimately it was the Lord who gave us this wisdom and knowledge and understanding. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse 16. Verse 16, it says, "These 6 things does the Lord hate. Yeah, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren." Right? And let's go into that word for discord.
Strong's H 4090. Medan.
Right? And it says strife or contention. Right? And so now we're going to go into the outline of the word strife. And it says strife. It says angry or bitter disagreement over fundamental issues, conflict, and it's similar to the words conflict, friction, disagreement, argument, quarreling, right? So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, these are the things that the Lord hates, right? As you can see, these things lead to nowhere, right? So we're not supposed to be arguing with these people, right? Let them believe whatever they want, right? At the end of the day, it was our job to warn them once. If they want to continue to argue, we're going to let the prophecies speak for themselves, right? This is the book of Titus 3:10, and it says, "A man that is an heretic, after the first and second admonition, reject." Right? We're not gonna be telling you more than once or twice. Right after that, basically, you're go ahead, right? You want to listen to the instruction of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You know, you're gonna turn into missile food, man. You're gonna get destroyed, right? This book of 2 Chronicles 36 and 16 says, "But they mocked the messengers of Yahweh, and despised his words, and misused his prophets, until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, until there was no remedy." Right? That's a spirit that is about to go down, where you know, these people, you know, the Lord is fed up with these people mocking the prophets, right? Trying to debate with them, trying to, you know, give us these you know, backhanded remarks, right? Trying to disrespect the prophets. Man, the Lord is gonna fucking destroy all of you people. And it's gonna be a great thing. And you know, you're gonna realize, you know, when that nuclear missile hits, you know, whatever your judgment is, right? Whether you died of a famine, right, while you're starving, right, or you know, that nuclear missile, you know, hits and you see that nuclear cloud, right? Then you're gonna realize, you know, oh shit, I really should have listened to those people. Right, when they actually warned me about, you know, this stuff was going to happen. Right, so with that being said, I'm going to end the lesson here. Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I'm going to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone who teach and grow well. And peace and salutations to the elect out there feeding the sheep of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai with sincerity and charity. Shalom.